Tribal Chief Yao Ming, I would not dare to speak with such confidence if I could not back up my claim. Xiaoyan laughed. The situation of the Eastern Dragon Island was undoubtedly serious. At this moment, the Eastern Dragon Island would clearly understand how to choose between annihilation and putting aside their pride. I will dispatch some experts from the tribe to observe the actions of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe during this period of time. I will inform Brother Xiaoyan the moment their experts move. Yao Ming immediately spoke. He was also an extremely decisive person. Since he had made up his mind, he would not be indecisive in whatever he did. In that case, I will trouble Tribal Chief Yao Ming. We will be remaining in the Nine Serene Deep Ground Python tribe during this period of time. Additionally, we might perhaps have to borrow the Nine Serene Spring. Xiaoyan glanced at Kai Lin after mentioning the Nine Serene Spring. He was planning on using the strength of the Nine Serene Spring to help Kai Lin complete the tempering of her body. Haha, it's a small matter. However, the energy within the Nine Serene Spring is unusually dark and cold. Brother Xiaoyan should be careful. Yao Ming laughed before reminding Xiaoyan about the power of the spring. Since the matter of the stone tablet has been resolved, we should return to the tribe first. One will require some preparations in order to deal with the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Yao Ming waved his large hand. His body moved as he flew toward the underground network. Xiaoyan's group slowly followed behind him. Yao Ming hurriedly made some preparations after returning to the Nine Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. He had only just regained his position. It was likely not going to be easy for him to do something this big immediately, but given his character, he would quickly be able to resolve these matters perfectly. While Yao Ming was preparing to deal with the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe, Xiaoyan's group rested for an entire day. They once again appeared beside the Nine Serene Spring on the next day. The dark and cold energy contained within the Nine Serene Spring is lethal to an ordinary expert. However, the seven-colored heaven swallowing python boasts an extremely dense, dark, and cold aura. It is likely that only you can fearlessly absorb the energy inside. Xiaoyan turned his head to Kai Lin. He smiled and spoke to her after glancing at the Nine Serene Spring with a cold air floating above it. The dark and cold force within the Nine Serene Spring is extraordinary. Even an expert from the Nine Serene Deep Ground Python tribe would not dare to venture deep into it. However, this is not much of a problem for me.
Kai Lin finally smiled.
Her tone appeared to be quite proud. Being the only seven-colored heaven-swallowing python in the present world, she was qualified to look down on all snake magical beasts. Xiaoyan smiled. He clenched his hand and a jade bottle appeared in it. A pill cloud lingered within that jade bottle. An extremely powerful energy fluctuation was emitted from the bottle. This is the Great Bodhisattva Return Pill, a Tier 9 treasure pill. It can greatly raise your chances of advancing to the Bansheng class. You should consume it at a critical moment. It might help you a lot at that time. Xiaoyan handed the jade bottle to Kai Lin as he spoke. Kai Lin slightly nodded. She did not reject him. Instead, she extended her hand and received that jade bottle, which contained some warmth. This training will not be smooth. The amount of time it will require will likely be long. I will instruct Yao Ming to send some people to guard you if I have to leave and attend to some matters. Kai Lin played with the jade bottle in her hand. She was aware that Xiaoyan's group might have to head out to kill the experts from the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe very soon. Hence, she did not make any comments. She rotated her head and suddenly lifted her narrow and long eyes, which contained a bewitching expression. She slowly stepped forward and gently pressed her red lips against Xiaoyan's lips. Xiaoyan felt absent-minded the moment he sensed the sudden softness. His arm reflexively hugged Kai Lin's soft, narrow, seemingly boneless waist. That was a true temptation. That enchanting snake waist contained a charm that bewitched all life as it gently shook. The beauty in his embrace gently turned her head after Xiao Yin had become absent-minded because of that gentleness. A soft voice was transmitted into his ear. Be careful. Remember, your life belongs to this queen. Xiao Yin was startled after once again hearing these words that had once been imprinted deep within his soul. He turned his head, only to see the corner of Kai Lin's mouth suddenly lift into an enchanting arc. This arc appeared like the final stroke of a masterpiece. It caused the originally gentle woman to suddenly appear cold and strong. In an instant, Kai Lin, who had been acting gentle in front of Xiao Yin for so many years, seemed to have become the cold and ruthless Medusa of the past once again. At that time, she had shaken the entire Jiama Empire and frightened Xiao Yin into worrying all the time. Xiao Yin was stunned as Kai Lin seemed to turn into a different person. She suddenly smiled more just as he was about to speak. Her lovely body swayed, and she turned into an unusually large, seven-colored heaven-swallowing python. This python swung its large tail and charged into the 9 serene yellow spring without turning her head once. A great wave surged. Bubble. The lake water immediately appeared to boil after Kai Lin entered the 9 serene yellow spring. It formed countless bubbles. Xiao Yin could sense the energy of the 9 serene spring stir at this moment. Xiao Yin was stunned for a moment as he stood beside the 9 serene spring. Finally, he bitterly smiled and recovered. He rubbed his lips as his eyes wandered over the surface of the lake with a somewhat complicated expression. Ever since she had given birth to little Xiao Xiao, Kai Lin's character seemed to have become much gentler. She had chosen to obey all of Xiao Yan's request. However, Xiao Yan finally understood that the cold and proud Queen Medusa still existed deep within Kai Lin's bones. She had forced herself to become a good wife and mother because of him and little Xiao Xiao. Compared to you being a good wife and mother, I prefer you to reveal your original character. Xiao Yan looked at the surface of the lake and softly sighed. His body moved, and he appeared on a protruding rock above the deep abyss, after which he sat down on it. He needed to advance of his strength before heading out to block the experts from the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Yellow Spring Finger, Yellow Spring Palm, Yellow Spring Divine Anger. These 3 Yellow Spring ultimate skills have been inserted into my soul by that Demon Saint soul fragment. The various things the Demon Saint comprehended while studying these 3 dose skills was included in the information I was given. This kind of blessing is far from what the dose skill on the stone tablet being learned by Yao Ming and the others can compare with. Xiao Yin shut his eyes, but these thoughts swiftly flashed over his heart in the process. Although the current Xiao Yin had just obtained these 3 great dose skills, Xiao Yin was absolutely confident that the Yellow Spring dose skills he could unleash would be many times mightier than Yao Ming's Yellow Spring Finger or Yellow Spring Palm. The knowledge that Demon Saint Huang Quan had accumulated throughout his life was not some useless thing. Regardless of how others comprehended the dose skills, it would be very difficult for others to surpass the understanding of the Creator. The Demon Saint Essence Blood contains the strength of the Demon Saint Huang Quan. If I am able to absorb it, my strength will soar. A thought passed through Xiao Yan's mind as a drop of golden blood appeared in his palm. The appearance of this drop of blood caused the surrounding area to visibly tremble. Xiao Yan clearly sensed all the energy in a 1,000-foot radius had begun to escape. It is indeed worthy of being the Demon Saint's essence blood, since it this overbearing. Xiao Yan involuntarily smiled after sensing his surroundings. This was the first time that he had obtained such an overbearing energy. Even the natural energy around it had been expelled. I will refine it before speaking. Xiao Yan glanced at the 9 serene spring below. He sighed in relief after seeing that nothing unusual was happening. He opened his mouth and exhaled. A flame was spat out, and it wrapped around the drop of golden blood. Although this essence blood could be absorbed under normal circumstances, it was not a bad thing to be cautious at times. The golden blood burned within the heavenly flame for 3 full hours, but not the slightest fluctuation was emitted. It appeared as though the frighteningly high temperature of the heavenly flame did not exist. This refinement continued for around 4 hours before Xiaoyan finally opened his eyes. He widened his mouth and the flame rushed into his mouth with lightning-like speed along with the golden blood. Bang! The clothes on Xiaoyan's body shattered to dust the moment the golden blood entered his body. A frightening energy fluctuation spread from his body, shaking the surrounding abyss rocks until many crack lines formed. Xiaoyan did not have any time to deal with the situation in the outside world. That drop of blood had turned into waves of violent energy that wildly rushed in all directions like an untamed horse. The blood began to go on a crazy rampage within his body. That destructive force was created by an overflowing energy. The energy within the blood was far more violent than Xiaoyan had imagined. This fierce and uncontrolled energy could cause an expert 5-star Do Zun's body to explode. Fortunately, however, the current Xiaoyan had far exceeded that level. The change within his body might have caught him off guard, but he quickly calmed his mind down, after which he began to steadily absorb the energy. Under this perfect control of his, the wild horse-like violent energy also began to once again come under his control. It slowly became gentle under the burning heavenly flame. Finally, traces of it seeped into every part of Lin Dong's body. Xiaoyan sat on the protruding rock. A rich breath of energy was emitted from his nostrils, giving him the appearance of a furious dragon. This energy finally entwined with the air curled and rose before disappearing from this world. This fellow, all of his trainings take such a long time. The little fairy doctor stood at the top of abyss as she looked at the protruding rock where Xiaoyan sat. She helplessly sighed in a soft voice. It had already been half a month since Xiaoyan had entered his training state. During this half a month, he did not show any signs of awakening. A frighteningly pure energy rippled around him like a cloud. If one were to grab it, it would appear as viscous as water. The little fairy doctor and Qing Lin were naturally able to tell that Xiaoyan was in a critical stage of his training. Hence, they did not speak loudly in order to not disturb Xiaoyan despite uttering words from their mouths. Elder sister Kai Lin has also not revealed any activity. Qing Lin's eyes looked at the bottom of the deep abyss as she stated. The continuously boiling lake surface had calmed down a couple of days ago. The entire Nine Serene Spring had regained its old calm. Kai Lin, who was within it, had shown no signs of movement either. Kai Lin should be all right. Being a 7-colored heaven-swallowing python, she is just like a fish that has found water in this Nine Serene Spring. The little fairy doctor grinned. She could sense the frighteningly dark and cold energy which had agglomerated within the Nine Serene Spring for countless of years, gathered to the deepest parts of the lake. The energy was being absorbed into Kai Lin's body. Looks like we can only continue waiting. According to what Tribal Chief Yao Ming said, it seems that the Heaven Demon Phoenix has begun to show signs of moving, Qing Lin remarked. Xiaoyan should be finishing up soon, the little fairy doctor nodded. Her pretty eyes landed on Xiaoyan, who was seated in a lingering cloud. Xiaoyan was gradually withdrawing his aura. It was likely that he was about to succeed. Qing Lin nodded. She also sat down on a boulder and quietly waited for Xiaoyan's training to finish. Yao Ming had already issued an order to seal the area within 10,000 feet from the deep abyss. Other than the 2 women, no one would come in and disturb the 2 who were training. Another 2 days quietly passed amid this wait. The viscous cloud that had formed around Xiaoyan suddenly emitted an intense fluctuation as the morning of the 3rd day gradually enveloped the land. The surrounding natural energy seemed to have been dragged by something as it surged out in all directions. Finally, it gathered into an enormous energy storm in the air above Xiaoyan. The edge of this storm was connected to the top of Xiao Yan's head. This unexpected change also woke the little fairy doctor and Qing Lin from their training states. Some surprise flashed across their faces as they observed this unusual phenomenon form. It looks like his training is almost over. Xiao Yan's tightly shut eyes within the cloud were suddenly opened after the little fairy doctor uttered those words. An energy light shot out and penetrated into the wall in front of him, forming two black holes of unknown depth. He lifted his head, widened his mouth, and violently sucked in.
Bang!
The 1,000-foot-large energy storm poured down as Xiao Yan sucked. It flowed through his throat and entered his body.
Ka.
As more energy was devoured by Xiao Yan's body, hints of an energy fluctuation began to seep out. The energy cracked the hard stone walls around him, forming countless numbers of huge cracks. Giant rocks were accompanied by a loud rumbling sound as they fell down. Finally, they landed in the deep abyss below. Swoosh! This activity that erupted from the deep abyss naturally attracted the attention of many experts from the Nine Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. Their faces were startled, but they could only remain 10,000 feet away from the abyss. They were unable to get closer to watch the unusual phenomenon due to the orders Yao Ming had issued. A couple rays of light came flashing over from the distance. They appeared above the deep abyss. Yao Ming and a couple of very experienced Nine Serene Deep Ground Python tribe elders were revealed. At this moment, their eyes revealed a shock as they watched Xiao Yan swallow the surrounding energy. What a powerful aura! It is likely that the current Mr. Xiao Yan is fast approaching a second star Dosheng, right? An elder exclaimed. Yao Ming shook his head upon hearing yes. He said, the demon saint essence blood might be powerful, but it is not so easy to rise within the Dosheng class. Being able to reach an advanced 1-star Dosheng is not bad. Being an advanced 2-star Dosheng, he clearly understood how difficult it was to rise through each small level. However, being able to soar from an initial 1-star Dosheng to an advanced, this has already exceeded my expectations. Yao Ming exclaimed. If he could obtain all of the demon saint essence blood, he would feel confident that he could swiftly raise his strength to the 3rd star of the Dosheng class. However, if it was only a drop, he was only confident he would be able to break through within 3 years. Bang! While Yao Ming was conversing with the few elders in the sky, that enormous energy storm was completely swallowed into Xiao Yan's body. After the final trace of energy entered his body, the entire area began to gradually become quiet. A breath that contained a rich energy was slowly exhaled from Xiao Yan's throat. It agglomerated into a liquid that scattered down. This liquid was landed on some huge rocks. Those rocks slowly crystallized and appeared like jade. Ha! Congratulations on advancing to the advanced 1-star Dosheng class, Brother Xiao Yan. Breaking through to the 2-star Dosheng class is only a matter of time. Yao Ming quickly descended from the sky after seeing Xiao Yan cease his training. He cupped his hands together and loudly laughed. Xiao Yan politely smiled when he heard Yao Ming's congratulating him. He clenched his fist and felt quite satisfied. A drop of the demon saint's essence blood had nearly allowed him to step into the 2nd star of the Dosheng class. This was difficult to imagine. If he had completely devoured all of the essence blood by himself, he could have caught up to Yao Ming. Being in possession of a heavenly flame, it refined and helped him absorb most of the energy in the demon saint essence blood. The energy within his body automatically turned into clothes on the surface of his body to replace his shattered clothes after he stood up in the fog. At his level, it was possible for Do Qi to transform into anything with just a mere thought. It looks like Kai Lin is still training. Xiao Yan's eyes glanced at the 9 serene spring below. From his perception, he was naturally able to sense the endless dark and cold energy within the 9 serene spring surge to a large creature. That large creature was the seven-colored heaven-swallowing python that Kai Lin had transformed into. Tribal Chief Yao Ming, has there been any news of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe? Xiao Yin asked with a smile as his eyes landed on Yao Ming. Aye. The smile on Yao Ming's face was withdrawn upon hearing this question. He slowly nodded before catching Xia Yin up to speed in a deep voice. Based on the information that I have obtained, the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe has dispatched some experts to the Empty Realm to aid the three great dragon islands during these few days. They have indeed choose to intervene, huh? Xiao Yin faintly smiled. He was unsurprised by this news. Those from the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe possessed evil intentions. They would use any tricks available in order to obtain the Dragon Phoenix blood. Those three great dragon islands really ignored everything in order to be victorious. They even invited their enemies into their territory. How many experts has the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe dispatched this time around? Most of those dispatched by the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe this time around are at the Dozun class. Of course, there are not many people that we need to worry about. There are only three that we care about. These three are all Grand Elders in the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. They have an extremely ferocious reputation within the magical beast world. Yao Ming spoke with a somewhat grave expression. Oh? Who are these three? What is their strength like? Xiao Yin lifted his brow. These three Grand Elders are known as the Heaven Demon Three Phoenix, Feng Huang, Kuren Huang, Ying Huang. Yao Ming stated, among them, Feng Huang is an intermediate 2-star Doshang, Kuren Huang is an advanced 1-star Doshang, and Ying Huang is an intermediate 1-star Doshang. 3 Doshangs. Xiao Yan's expression slightly changed. It was unexpected that the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe would actually dispatch such a powerful force. From this, one could tell the great strength of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. These fellows had kept a low profile and accumulated quite a lot of strength. Other than the ancient Void Dragon, this Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe was undoubtedly the second ruler of these three tribes in the magical beast world. These three are extremely powerful. If they combine their strength, they can even fight against a 3-star Doshang. The Eastern Dragon Island will likely be threatened if they are allowed to help the 3 Dragon Islands. Yao Ming said. Xiao Yin quietly nodded. Regardless of what the case was, they could not allow the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe to intervene. Otherwise, Ziyan's Eastern Dragon Island would not be able to fight against the 3 large Dragon Islands. When will they move? Xiao Yin slowly exhaled as he inquired in a low voice. Although the lineup of 3 Doshangs was powerful, it was not frightening to the extent that Xiao Yin did not dare intervene. Yao Ming's eyes twitched upon hearing Xiao Yan's words. His heart was also shocked because of Xiao Yan's boldness. Xiao Yin dared to intervene even when facing 3 Doshangs. They will likely move out to head to the Empty Realm in 3 days' time. Xiao Yin gently nodded. His eyes landed on Yao Ming as he smiled and asked, Does Tribal Chief Yao Ming dare to attack and significantly cripple the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe? Yao Ming mused for a moment. Finally, he laughed and nodded. This was a choice. He needed to choose between the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe and Ziyan's Eastern Dragon Island. Yao Xiaotian had chosen the 3 great Dragon Islands, while Yao Ming had chosen the Eastern Dragon Island. In that case, we will get moving tomorrow and head to the Empty Realm. We will kill those from the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe 3 days later. Xiao Yin faintly smiled upon seeing Yao Ming agree. A murderous desire spread from his voice.